Hi everyone. I'm speaking to friends who are using boats to go to Cyprus from Israel, going to Amman, Jordan. Those are just tourists. The Israeli people are so stalwart in their determination to fight. Foremost among them, for me, of course, are my children who live there, who fight online and who fight in the IDF. God bless them. Now, President Trump has said that he's going to wait 2 weeks to make a decision as to whether or not he will give Israel the two things that it most needs, which is a B-2 bomber to drop a 30,000-pound bunker buster bomb, what's called the massive ordnance bomb. It's the only thing that can come down at supersonic speeds into the 300 feet of reinforced concrete in the Fordo nuclear facility where all the enriched uranium is being stored. Now, Fordo is right outside the ancient Iranian, Persian, really, imperial capital of Isfahan. That's where my father was born in the early 30s. That's where my family lived for a millennia. Iran was once a home to the Jewish people. They were never equals. They had to pay a jizya, special poll tax imposed upon them by Islam. My father told me that he remembers as a child that whenever he would buy fruit, he would have to put the money down because a Muslim merchant would not touch money or anything else that was handled by a Jew. But at least there were no gas chambers. There were some pogroms. My father also tells, my father was a real hero. He passed away 5 years ago. He tells me many stories of how he organized these little Jewish vigilante groups to fight back against the Muslim kids who tried to beat them up at school. But there was still nothing like Christian or Catholic Spain, nothing like what we see in Europe. Either President Trump is pulling off a genius move in order to divert China from helping Iran and Putin and Russia from helping Iran, and that's why he asked for the 2 weeks, or he's really contemplating whether his Maga base is going to support a strike on Iran when he promised to end the forever wars. That's why I've said repeatedly, destroying the Iranian regime and regime change is the end of the forever wars. The forever wars have all been ignited by Iran for the past 45 years, beginning with the taking of the American embassy. There must be regime change. Now, when I read that even people like Charlie Kirk from Turning Point USA are saying, quote, it would be a, quote, catastrophe for regime change, like, Charlie, come on. We're friends. What are you talking about? It would be a catastrophe for a regime that stones women to death to be replaced. It would be a catastrophe for a regime that takes gay men and hangs them from cranes in town squares to be replaced. It would be a catastrophe to take a regime that foments violence and terrorism, the largest export of terrorism in the world, to be replaced. It would be a catastrophe for a regime that literally murders 21-year-old beautiful girls because they showed a little bit of hair. How can an American talk that way? So many of the people who claim to be MAGA, Make America Great Again, and America First, are now all about America Last.